Cycle Analyst display. I'm going to give you a little look into that. Your charge voltage is here. So that's going to show you your state of charge. So fully charged is close to 50 volts. Fully discharged is about 39 volts. But a good rule of thumb is that your operating range is 40 to 50 volts. Now, it's not necessarily linear. So 45 volts doesn't mean you're at half charge necessarily. The best bet is for you to take the unit out in your area and get a sense of what your average range is. But you'll find that as you get to the bottom of your range, you'll have voltages around 43, 44 volts sustained, and then it'll begin to drop a little bit from there. But the best bet is to take it out, try it in your neighborhood, and get a good sense for what your average riding range is, and then adjust to about 80% of that for your typical rides. Your power is down in the bottom left. That's your power output from the motor. Up on the top right, it's a scrolling display of motor temperature. Then you've got the distance traveled on this charge. And then you also have how many amp hours you've used in this charge. Each battery pack is about 25 amp hours, 100 amp hours total available from the batteries with the 4-pack version, or 50 with 2 packs, or 75 with 3 packs. Your speed is down there in the bottom right. It's blinking at us right now because it won't allow you to apply throttle until you exceed about 3 miles per hour. So over here on the controls, the hand controls, the main thing you need to do after the key switch is on is push this button, and that's going to arm the unit, and so now it's ready to ride. However, it's not going to go anywhere as you push this thumb throttle. It's not going to go anywhere until you're pedaling and moving. But you can see that you've got your throttle readout here on the bottom left. That shows your throttle position. So even though it senses my throttle input, it's not moving as a safety feature because we're not pedaling. And that's great if, in case there's kids around or whatever, the unit can be on, but it's not going to take off if somebody bumps into the throttle. So a couple kicks over on the pedals. Okay, so over on this side, you'll see that you got your key switch here, which is removable. All this is sealed, so all of it's IP rated. So you can remove your keys. Also, you've got an inlet here for the charging power. So I'll show you. This is a pretty typical kind of computer cord or utility cord that you're plugging in. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Of course, the other end is going into the wall. But the chargers on the 4th generation Alphas, one thing that's changed is the previous generations had a large plate right here on both sides, and that plate had a removable cap, and that was where you plug the charger in, or plug the charger cord into. Yeah. That's it. You just got a little shot there. So that's all been eliminated, and one of the reasons we did that is we implemented those chargers in 2016. The charger technology has improved a lot. It's a lot more efficient. So now the chargers are 95% efficient, and they don't need a fan to be able to stay cool. Instead, they're cooling directly into the shell, the aluminum shell of the enclosure. So that means that you don't need any cuts or holes in the enclosure to vent the charger through. And that also means that the unit's more efficient, more waterproof, and more reliable. So it's a huge, huge improvement on these machines. And obviously it's dead silent, which is nice. One way you can tell it is charging, where it is in its state of charge, you can turn the key switch on. You'll see on the display that it says negative 0.0 kilowatts. And that's because the battery's actually fully charged right now. But if it wasn't fully charged and you were charging, the max power going into the pack that you would see is 1.00 kilowatts, or 1,000 watts, because it's a 1,000 watt charger. And that's going to read negative on the display here. So that's how the charger works. If you have a single battery pack, it's about 1.2 kilowatt hours. And that 1.2 kilowatt hour pack or 1200 watt hour pack, it's going to take about 1 hour to charge with a 1,000 watt charger. If you add a second pack, it'll be about 2 hours, 3 packs is 3 hours, and 4 packs about 4 hours roughly. It's a very quick charger, and it's on board, which is great because if you're traveling with an e-bike long distance across the state or wherever, and you have a off-board charger that you're putting in your pannier bag, there's always a risk that it's going to get wet, or it's going to get stomped on, or going to get damaged in some way or lost. But with this onboard charger, obviously that's not an issue. And it's a lot easier to pack because all you're packing is the cord. And if you lose the cord or damage the cord, it's a cord that you can get at any Lowe's or Staples or any kind of utility store. So makes it nice and easy. And yep, you just pull it straight out to remove it. And you've probably seen these before on computers and printers. It's a very common type of cable. So that's that.